Westworld, TVN.
My name is Bazz, Hancher, film director and CEO of White Raven Independent Films. I'm a producer, editor and director.
And I'm Michael Walcott, co-founder of White Raven Independent Films. I'm also the technical director and editor-producer.
How long have you been working in the film industry, even if it is on the fringes?
I've been working in the film industry since 2003. I run a small company back there called Bazz Jazz Films along with my cousin. Went on to form BSH Entertainments and then met up with Mike in back end of 2009, and that's when we got together and produced the company which is now White Raven Films and LBM Video.
I started out in about 2000. I had an independent production company called MWI Media. Then I formed a documentary filmmaking company called Journeys Media Productions. And then towards the end I met Bazz and we formed White Ravens Independent Films.
Can you explain where your love of film came from?
I would say my love of film really very much dates back to the old VHS days where I would try to watch as many films as I could, particularly in the era of art house, horror, pretty much a broad basis.
I was frightened to death of horror films as a kid and thought that I had to prove something in adulthood, and fell in love with the cheesy films of the 1980s, especially Italian giallo films. Loved Dario Argento's Suspiria. That's pretty much was the film that really got me into directing as such. Like most of his stuff, a lot of Italian trash. Yeah, just films like that. Street trash, actually, funny enough. My favourite film, though, is definitely the Joe Spinell Maniac film. Big inspiration, along with Combat Shock.
I was quite a fan of Lars von Trier, The Idiots, Antichrist, also Jean-Luc Godard from the 60s New Wave. But I've always enjoyed films which are very challenging to the mind.
We know that you make some controversial films yourselves. Can you tell us a little bit about the most controversial film that you think that you've made?
Leon's Broken Mind, that had some shots of a rape scene involving a disabled man that showed penetration. And we followed that up in 2015 with a shockumentary called Cibo di Violenza, translated to Food of Violence, about cannibalism in the modern world, and is there any truth behind the Asians eating fetuses in general?
To be honest, I really didn't think this type of thing existed.
Westworld TVF.
We're not afraid of putting on film what we want to put on film. We are totally self-supported and we don't have to rely on anybody. So from pre-production all the way to post-production through to distribution, we can do all that ourselves, so we're answerable to nobody but ourselves.
We have tried to make films which affect, educate and also challenge our audiences. We have seen so many people out there that have made films which they claim this will shock you, and in the end it hasn't.
And how do audiences receive your films? Do you get them screened in many places?
Not really. People who like edgy films tend to like our material. I've always believed that we live in a desensitised community now, and a desensitised film world where people have seen so much that they're not really bothered of what they see. But I think in recent years, the films that we've made have actually proved us wrong on that. I think actually it seems that they're actually more anal about it than what they probably were in the 80s, which is quite a surprise, really. Our films will never be mainstream, but yeah, we get very little time to show it because I don't think there's many people brave enough to give us a crack.
So there actually is a market for your type of film.
It's certainly underground, I think. I don't think there is a market. I don't think there's a market, really, to be quite honest with you, with independent film as such. I think even high-ended, budgeted independent films struggle as much as we do. That some of them may get lucky and get big showings, but again, I think the audiences have been indoctrinated into green screen, multi-million pound special effects, and if your film hasn't got any of that in it, people aren't interested in it.
How would you describe your style of filmmaking?
I think it's a cross between guerrilla filmmaking. I think there's still a big part of that. That's where we both originated from. And I don't know. I can't. Just edgy, really. We've always said, if we're going to make something, let's make it a bit edgy. Let's make it a bit different. Let's not make something that you could pick up anywhere. We want it to be edgy. We want our films to be a little bit different, and I think we've achieved that. We've never made any money out of it, but we've achieved what we wanted to achieve, and there's a lot to be said for that.
So you'll carry on making films whether or not they're commercially successful?
Yes.
And what would you like to say to your film audience?
We have got a bit of a fan base. For all the people who watch our films, thank you so much. It's got to be the first and foremost thing that we've got to say. Without you guys, it really wouldn't be worth doing.
Where can we find your films?
From our website, which is www.whiteravenfilms.co.uk. And also we will be putting up a new blog with how you can obtain our merchandise.
How do you actually get your actors to do some of the things that they do?
Lie to them. I think people we work with have believed our ethos, and that has been a massive bonus to us. They believed in us and we believed in them. We have had people come back 2 or 3 times in either a guise as crew or acting or musicians.
Bazz is a bit of a nightmare to work for.
So I think that speaks a lot for both sides of the coin. Yeah, I do think it probably is mutual respect.
It's Barry Hancher to me. I'll never forgive or forget him.
What project are you working on currently?
We're working on a comedy horror film called White Goods, which will probably be our very first feature-length drama film, feature-length drama.
Feature-length horror, yeah. We've made a feature-length documentary beforehand, so we have made features, but this will be the first feature film outside of the documentary genre. Again, a lot of gore. It's as mad as you like. A lot of it ain't going to make sense. It's character-driven. We've got loads of mad people involved in it. Again, there's not one person in it who doesn't believe in the ethos of it. Like I said, the cult fans, I think they will enjoy it because it will. We're hoping it's going to be a cult movie. Once you've had the taste of the filmmaking bug, you can't think of anything else.